What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Spawnhour and Theo Ash. And today we are here to continue our position rankings entering the 2025 NFL season. Today we are looking at cornerbacks, one of the, I think one of the deepest positions in the NFL right now, or at least, I don't know if I think it's deep, actually. I know there's a lot of great players at the top. And then as we get into kind of like the 10 through 17, I think it's really, really strong as well. But before we get into that, Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon?
I have a couple of things to say. Number one, is there bad background noise on my mic?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Then I'll take your word for it. Number two, I've been in a bad mood because of my terrible chair. I've realized recently how bad my chair is. Getting a good office chair costs a ton of money, right? I mean, like a really nice one's like $500 or whatever. Like your budget if you're spending 200 bones. And I bought this one, and you know what? I just think I've underestimated how poor it is. The other night I was sitting around, I'm like, dude, I'm like literally sore because of how uncomfortable this chair is. I'm getting like, I'm having longevity issues. I'm breaking down at minute 50 of every podcast. That's not just like normal stuff. That's all on the chair entirely. And then when I lean back, you guys have heard it before, where it just like clunks for no reason. I have no idea what that is. And it's starting to like grind itself apart, like on the handlebars. It's like rubber, and it's getting, I can pull off a little chunk right now. But like, it's pathetic. My chair situation for somebody who has a home office, like I work from home. When I'm watching film, I like to watch it at my desktop. When I'm, playing games or doing the podcast, I'm at the desktop. So I got a little bit of cash for my B-day. I was debating on what I'm going to buy myself. I have a new chair coming on Wednesday. So
is it a Herman Miller?
No, it's not a Herman. It's still another budget chair, but it's supposed to be better than this. I don't have cash like that, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, you know I don't have cash like that. Herman, I mean, how much is a Herman Miller? It's like $1,200 for a
cheap
chair.
Herman Miller. Like if you got a cheaper Herman Miller, it would be like $800 or $900.
But I want the neck rest. I want to be able to lean back and chill. That's the new goal. Because
I'm gonna ask my mom the chair that she got my dad. His office chair is absurdly comfortable. It's like one of the most comfortable chairs.
The order's already locked in.
Okay.
I appreciate the search, but we're locked in. We're ready to go. Last night I was getting mad about it. I'm like, this sucks. I've been living.
This was like last night. You bought this chair.
Yeah, I decided I was living a lower quality life than I needed to. Yeah. So that's going to be the big change coming up to the podcast here. We're going to record for probably 4 or 5 hours straight. Once I get that thing.
Oh yeah. Theo, what kind of chair are you rocking with?
I don't even know.
This guy's on like a stool or something, and it just doesn't bother him at all somehow. No disrespect.
He's on a wooden stool.
That's the type of.
Well, what are you rocking?
I don't even know what brand this is. I don't know. I think I got it. I don't know where this came from originally because my friend was just getting rid of his chair and said, "Do you want it?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take it." So I took it, and now it's the chair. It's like high school computer lab.
Okay.
Basic ass chair.
It's an upgrade from a stool.
It is an upgrade from a stool. Yeah, I also wish I had a nicer one. But I'm not forking over that type of bread. So
there is one really nice chair. This is why you guys have to get the podcast going triple platinum so that we can all get super fancy chairs.
It's the audience's fault. The podcast.
It's your fault.
Is only single platinum right now.
You watching this.
There's nothing more we could do. No. At this point, yeah, it's your burden. But yeah, I'm not rocking anything fancy at all.
Fair enough. And how are you doing, Theo?
I'm doing pretty well. I've seen a bunch of touchdowns recently because I was looking into the claim that you can tell how good a wide receiver's career will be off their first touchdown.
Yep.
That was a TikTok I saw. It had like 700,000 views or something. So I was like, well, there's interest. Let's find out if it's true. So I looked at every single first touchdown from every receiver drafted from 2010 to 2022. I graded the touchdown. I found their top 3 AV seasons to determine their quality, and made a chart. And I found that it really doesn't correlate whatsoever. I think you need to be at like a 0.3 R squared to a 0.3 R squared to be able to say light correlation is what I remember. And yeah, this was at point.
What was the standard deviation looking like?
This is at 0.0487. Well, the standard deviation for what?
For the
average touchdown quality.
Yeah, we'll look at standard deviation for average touchdown quality, and then standard deviation for
Bro doesn't even know what he's asking.
what the
You just heard it was. You just heard ours. Said like, let me. I got a vocab word for this, bro.
The standard deviation for the touchdown score was 1.76. And then the standard deviation for your peak AV over 3 years was 11.81. All right. So
oh wow,
that's the amount it fluctuates.
yeah,
I assume y'all know standard deviation.
yes.
Yeah, but it was fun to watch all those scores and go through YouTube and see what was John Baldwin doing early in his career. He was running a
Throwback
corner post for one of like 2 touchdowns he had in his career. So I was kind of in the archives and having a good time. So you can check out that video and watch some first touchdowns. DJ Moore had a sweet first touchdown, Matt. Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
He caught a dig against zone, and then he like stiff-armed a guy and then run past another guy. It was pretty sweet. Corey Coleman had a sweet first touchdown.
it was okay.
It was sweet. It was good. He released inside, like one vertically, toe tapped at the back of the end zone. It was a good one.
guess, yeah, but maybe I'm just looking at it through what's the opposite of rose-colored glasses.
Shit-colored glasses.
Shit-colored glasses, because he was terrible.
He was terrible.
Where did Josh Gordon fall on that list?
He's not a first-round pick.
Oh, you only looked at first-round guys.
I only looked at first-round guys, and I forgot Brandon Ayuk somehow. You must have been hyped about Corey Coleman to begin his career, though. His first 2 weeks.
I did not like Corey Coleman when the Browns drafted him.
Really? And his performance against the Ravens, the first 2 weeks of his career, he had 69 yards his first game, and then he had 104 yards and 2 touchdowns his second game. And then he was inactive for 6 weeks, and then he never.
But as soon as I saw that the Browns drafted Corey Coleman, my first, I was like, okay, what do I need to know about this guy? So I went and just like, I watched his highlights, and then I listened to like a podcast about him, and everyone was just like, oh yeah, he only runs 2 routes, and it was goes and slants. Like that's all he's got in his bag. And I'm like,
I remember Steve Smith liking him, and I mean, really? I can't pin you on this. I don't have the proof, but like there is literally no possible way that at 15 years old, after Corey Coleman had a couple of bangers, you were not like, yeah, he's the truth. Like you absolutely must have been hyped as hell. I know.
I mean, well, that would have been 2016. So our quarterback would have been,
it would have been Kaiser, right?
It would Kaiser was 17.
The guy who threw the touchdown.
This would have been the
McCown,
this would have,
I believe.
Yeah, this would have been the McCown, Kessler.
That was Flacco.
What?
Flacco.
Nah, it couldn't have been.
It couldn't have been Flacco. It was that was the McCown, Charlie Whitehurst,
Kessler.
Oh, I'm looking at the Ravens.
Was in there.
Yeah. There was like, it was like I think we set the record for most starting quarterbacks.
Most different starting quarterbacks at like 6 or something. If I
was
remember correctly, like did McCown play like one game and got concussed, and they threw Kessler out there and he played one game and got concussed as well? Like they had absolutely ruthlessly bad
Cody
luck.
Kessler had 4 concussions that season.
Damn.
It was, yeah.
That's not
That
good.
was a tough year.
I felt so
hoping that-
bad for him because he was like actually kind of balling when he was in, and then he just kept getting concussions. But yeah, the Browns in 2016 were not having a lot of fun.
You
No.
want to get into some cornerbacks?
Yeah, let's talk about the cornerbacks. The top
Thank God
10.
the Browns have a good one of those now. But we'll go kind of the normal 10, work our way up, and we'll go through the honorable mentions. If you're unfamiliar with the way that we do our position rankings, we each have our own top 10 list that we put together, and then we use a ranked choice voting board account type system to create the consensus list. And with that, we have 3 honorable mentions on this one. 2 of them are yours, Theo, and 1 of them is Matt's. So we'll start with Devin Witherspoon and Nate Wiggins.
Witherspoon just
Yeah.
he just is awesome, you know. The nickel position is a little bit different than outside corner, so you know, thinking about that, it was kind of hard.
I thought
But-
about DeJean, kind of, but that was kind of the same.
I think there are better nickels out there than DeJean these days. I just think he gets
I agree.
the Super Bowl boost a little bit. I do think that Witherspoon is probably maybe the best pure nickel. I guess Marlon Humphrey was in the nickel last year, so it's probably him. But Witherspoon is just so physical, man. Like he just buzzes around the whole field, going from like kind of layer to layer to layer, and just causing havoc. Each layer down, you know, he'll wall off the vertical route. Job finished, right? Let's get down to the second level, shed a block, boom, tackle the ball carrier. It's just consistent with him. He's a busy worker bee, you know, in that defense. He just is always hitting something, always flying around. You can blitz him, you can have him press somebody and they'll throw him off. You know, he's really tenacious when guys try to make catches. He's just a dog, you know, that hook him up to the x-ray scan and see what it says. It's literally just a picture of a pit bull in his innards. So I had to rank him. I have a lot of respect for his game.
I don't do honorable mentions, but he was my 11. I won't lie to you. I don't think anybody closes downhill once like a flat has been caught or a screen's been caught with more confidence than Witherspoon. It's really something to watch. I mean, there's plenty of guys. I don't even think it's a willingness that other dudes lack. It's just like his ability allows him to trust himself more to go make a play in the open field. And because of that, I mean, you know, he obviously can blow guys up and he can save a whole lot of yards on plays like that, even when he's getting depth. And I think that changes the math when it comes to playing him, and is why he's such a special player. I have Nate Wiggins as my 10 spot. Theo, you had Witherspoon as yours. Wiggins was one of my breakout guys. I feel like he was good enough last year where it doesn't make sense to be like, yeah, he's going to break out, but he's not top 10, honestly. And frankly, I think that he's going to be that caliber of guy next year. We've talked about it before, so I won't make this too long, but I think it's a combination of him having pretty incredible mirroring, being really agile and really quick to react that allows him to be super sticky in man coverage, while also being physical enough at the catch point to go toe-to-toe with most big receivers, which you wouldn't expect from somebody who's maybe a little bit lighter. I mean, in that Ravens secondary, when he was out there, I mean, he got tasked with man a pretty decent amount, and I think his responsibility is going to be much bigger next year, as big as it can be, even with Humphrey out there. And that's, I think, part of what allows them to kind of move Humphrey around a little bit more, will at least next year. So I'm really high on Wiggins, and I think he could end up even higher on this list if he really hits his stride.
Yeah, I think the only reason that I wouldn't have had Wiggins on my list this year is simply because I felt like his role wasn't big enough. So like you're absolutely right. Like next year he could be like, I mean, he's here at like 12-ish, but he could easily.
I feel you. I can't hate you because, you know, there's a lot of corners and I only had him at 10 or whatever. His role will be bigger next year, though. That I have no question about.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's going to be, he wasn't an every snap player for a lot of last season, but he will be next year if the trends hold up for Baltimore.
Man, last year's DB class was so ridiculous. You could consider Wiggins in the top 10 already. You could consider Mitchell in the top 10 already. You already mentioned DeJean. Tarheeb still, you could probably think about. He's pretty underrated. And with the Chargers, like at safety, there's Evan Williams and Andrew Phillips is a nickel. Lassiter's good. I think Kool-Aid, obviously we'll see what Kool-Aid McKinstry does as more of a starter this year. Cameron Kitchens had a good rookie season, man. Like
I'm excited to see
Malik
Kool-Aid
Mustafa
out there more. I'm really excited to see Kool-Aid out there more.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be really, really good.
Jarvis Brownlee had a good rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Just insane the amount of quality defensive backs that got drafted.
It is kind of insane, isn't it?
We have one more honorable mention from you, Theo, and it's a little sad that this is your honorable mention and not mine,
Matt's.
but you had J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn, I mean, I get not ranking him because he's been hurt so often, but he did play 15 games last year, and I thought he was pretty good with no pass rush and literally the Lamborghini in the Section 8 image or the Bugatti or whatever that is. Super physical, good tackling in the flat, good setting the edge. He can press you. Like when you think about kind of just these dominant number one outside corners kind of in the peak of their powers, I do think that J.C. Horn is that right now. It's just he hasn't been consistent staying healthy.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
that brings
mean,
go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, let's just get to the top 10. That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Getting into the top 10, Theo, you mentioned that this draft class for corners was really, really special. At number 10, we have Quinyon Mitchell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Matt and I both had him kind of near the bottom of our list, but he was really good last year as kind of the main outside corner for a lot of last year for the Eagles, or one of the main outside corners for the Eagles last year, with DeJean being in the slot. And the only problem that he had is that he can't catch. We talked to Slay at the Super Bowl, and that was the only thing he was like. He's like, Quinyon, we love Quinyon. He's got terrible hands. We jump up and down when he gets to.
You know what's so crazy is that I forgot entirely about that, and still one of my notes for him as I was watching him was like, dude, if he could catch.
He just can't catch, man. He can't catch to save his life. But he's so sticky in coverage. He's just
athletic. So fast.
Mm-hmm.
He's so fast that it's really easy for him to recover even when he loses. And I think that's kind of his superpower. I remember we were watching him at Toledo and we're like, I just don't know if being this level of athlete, but in the MAC is going to translate. And the answer is like, yeah, if you're that level of athlete, it absolutely does translate, even if like, maybe he was playing on easy mode at Toledo or whatever. I think there's more technically sound corners on the list for sure. I don't think he's as matchy as like Wiggins. And if I had Mitchell at 9 and Wiggins at 10, I might flip that, but it wouldn't change how our ranking goes. So it doesn't really matter, I guess.
No, you're right. It wouldn't.
But regardless, yeah, I think the role that he took over, it's a big reason why, why the Eagles were able to win the Super Bowl is because they nailed those first couple of picks.
Yep.
And I'm really excited for their defense this year. I know we've talked about this a million times, but adding Campbell and Makuba to the young talent that they've added over the last couple of years, it's going to be crazy. I really do think it will be.
I don't know how you're going to throw against that team. I
don't either. It's going to be brutal.
So,
well, you're going to do what they did last year, and you're going to get in trips, and they're going to play poach, and they're going to let the weak side safety rob the number 3 and let that number 1 be isolated. And that number 1 isolated player is, who is it? It's the Georgia guy. It's Keely Ringo, maybe Adoree Jackson.
Keely Ringo, yes.
Mm-hmm. Last year, that was something that you saw all the time, but they never isolated Quinyon Mitchell, even though he was the rookie and Jerry Slay is a very established vet. Teams always isolated Slay. They did not want the smoke of Mitchell one-on-one. He was the best player on the best defensive secondary in the league, I'd say, unless there's a safety I'm forgetting.
No, I think
he is. And yeah,
the best player on the best
in the secondary. Secondary.
Yeah. I mean,
unless the Ravens secondary.
That's what I was like. Maybe if you think the Ravens are a better secondary, he's Hamilton,
the one.
Obviously, the better
Yeah. He's the one anchoring the secondary on the best defense in the league. Maybe we can put it that way.
Regardless of how teams will attack Ringo, bringing in Campbell and Makuba into coverage is going to be awesome.
Yeah. I agree. And Ringo, maybe he'll be good if he's ready for this much responsibility. But I was just trying to segue that into the larger point that teams really did not want to test Mitchell that much, even though he was a rookie. Like, he just came in, he's super physical. He'll reroute you and throw off all the timing. He can really tackle. He can play man. He's very measured, I feel like. I do feel like he can kind of maybe open his hips to the sideline a little bit too much and get beat on some in-breakers. He can maybe get a little bit better at that specific aspect, but it's hard to beat him down the sideline because of that. And even when you run an in-breaker and he's a little bit overextended, like, he just flips his hips and recovers so effortlessly. So yeah, I do think that of all the good rookie DBs last year, he was the best one. And I love Nate Wiggins, and he was my CB1 going into this season, and he had a great season, but I think Mitchell had a better rookie year.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. At number 9, we have Cleveland Browns legend Denzel Ward, one of the I would say one of the few true man corners in the league still. I feel like a lot of defenses are very zone heavy, but the Browns with their current defensive configuration have been very, very man heavy, and we've seen them struggle a lot on the back end. But the one consistency is that Garrett is a freak and that Denzel Ward does not really lose, right? When the Browns get beat over top, it's usually one of the other guys that they're picking on. It's hard to pick on Denzel Ward, another guy that's super physical with his hands, almost impossible to break out of his press, and he's an incredible tackler, great in run support. So he's just a very, very complete player, great ball skills. I think he's always got a spot on this list, for as long as he's been in the league, pretty much.
Yeah,
Ward definitely was in a lot of man. I think he was top 10 among corners who really played. Albeit behind a couple of other players on this list.
Yeah, there's some other man heavy guys for sure, but Ward's definitely.
I think he also had a ridiculous amount of PBUs last year, if I'm not mistaken, like well over double digits, but I don't have that number in front of me. Regardless, I don't know. Efficiency-wise, Ward was not at his best last year. He did have a tough task, but he's not the only corner who had a tough task.
He led the NFL in pass deflections, 19.
That doesn't surprise me. I think among the guys I looked at, he was like highest in terms of like yards allowed per coverage snap. Now, part of that is because, he is asked to do a lot, but I don't think he's quite as sticky as you make it. I think teams aren't quite as scared to throw at him as they are other guys. So I left him just off of my list, I guess, with the injury stuff too. Albeit he played like a good number of games last year and whatnot, so maybe that's kind of nitpicky.
Now, he's had his injury problems for sure, but last year he played 16 games. So
yeah, he definitely got beat for some big plays last year. I think about the Denver one. I think it was Marvin Mims. It was invert cover 2, and he tried to rob that, seam. and just couldn't quite get there in time. And that's like almost 100 yards on his head. That was probably
Probably didn't help.
Probably didn't help the yards per coverage snap statistic, but I thought he was balling out last year overall. Like, even though with some of those big plays, like that's a tough assignment. Invert to put in a horizontal stretch. Like, I think there were a couple plays like that. I overall, like, all those PBUs that he got, he was so smooth with the back pedal, breaking on everything. He had a lot of successful moments in that type of coverage where there was somebody going up the sideline, but he was reading the quarterback's eyes and got the seam instead, kind of leaving his guy open and playing the midpoint really well. And he had maybe the best corner play of the season on I think he was guarding T. Higgins, and T. Higgins ran a corner route. Like, Ward was a bit behind it when he broke on it, then caught back up, saw the ball, and then like ripped it out of Higgins' hands and got like a pick. It was just ridiculous. So he balled out last year, I think, despite some of the big plays. And if it wasn't for kind of he's consistently banged up, I would have rated him higher.
He also did not tackle particularly well last year. I think he's one of the worst tacklers in the top 10.
He used to be a better tackler. I'll give you that. But
his
he used to make some highlight plays. He used to cook up some barbecue. I do remember. Of course.
You got barbecue back there and didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings. Pete.
Let's see. So the Browns last year, their pass defense rating on throws to the left. Let's see. They had the third worst passer rating allowed on throws going left. And on throws going right, which is where Ward lines up, they had it's the fifth worst.
I was about to say, I didn't want to interrupt you. I have his rating in front of me. It's also among the worst. Now, to be fair, I've got guys who are rated like he's in the 80s and nobody is in the 90s, right? There's a few other guys who are in the low 80s, but I don't think it was a statistical best season or anything.
It wasn't. I do think that a lot of like you talk about that Denver play, Theo, a lot of that does come down to like, if the Browns are going to line up in such a fashion to where you have to assign responsibility heavily to one person in the secondary, you're going to put that on Ward, like above anyone else, because everyone else is bad.
Look, I get it. You're not lying about that invert cover 2 getting tested horizontally stuff. I make that blunder in NCAA all of the time. And I get my dudes cooked, and then I'm like, what the hell happened? It was covered 2. And I quickly learned, and when it's invert cover 2, it's
you need to have guys that can get back.
It's not too easy for your fellas. They have to get back. And when you're starting the Hawaii rebuild, a couple of their corners are having some trouble getting back. So regardless, I don't think Ward's a bad pick here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm surprised his charting numbers are so bad.
Not his fault.
That's okay. Eye test.
His fault. Eye test is all that matters here.
I'm eye testing this shit.
We know he's the not his fault corner of the.
He might be.
He might be. Well, there's actually another guy on here who I think actually might have him beat. But at number 8, we've got Christian Benford, who, Theo, I'm a little surprised to see off of your list. I feel like
I get it because he's so zone heavy. I mean, the Bills run a ton of zone, right? So there's a level of
I felt like Theo was a big Benford fan.
I don't really have too many opinions on Benford. I just feel like Horn is a better number 1 corner. Like, if you're lined up across from Benford, it's not that he's bad. Like, he's really good in the zone coverage and technically sound and everything. I just don't know if he's like the one-on-one. Like,
maybe not. He was statistically awesome last year in terms of how many yards he let up per snap. He was actually the best of anybody on this list. Now, I do think that favors guys who run more zone than man. In fact, I'm almost certain that it does just from looking at like 20 guys ranked here, right? But I still do think it speaks to like how good he is at like reading out the field and seeing the plays before they happen and making a play on them. And on top of that, he's one of the best tacklers on this list. He's really good at getting downhill as well. So for me, just like the production and like being reliable and technically sound and smart, it's not certainly as flashy as some of these other guys, but I felt like I had to respect it when it came with great numbers as well.
Yeah, I certainly think he can deserve a shout.
And he's getting it. He's here.
He's getting.
He's getting his shout. He's here. At number 7, we have Jaylon Johnson. Shout out to Chicago Bears.
He's another very zone heavy corner.
Yeah, he's one of the heaviest. I mean, the Bears just in general.
But I feel like he's just a little bit, I don't know, bigger, more intimidating.
He's
a little
absolutely
bit more range.
Physical.
Yeah.
It feels like he makes more big plays, but I might be making that up.
I think that's true. I think it is true that he makes more plays than Benford.
It feels like it's probably true.
It's probably.
I had these guys pretty close. So, I mean, they were my 7 and 8, I believe. Yeah. So this is how I have it. But yeah, I kind of feel similar about Johnson and Benford. I just think Johnson's in a little bit bigger of a frame, right? But he's got some of his best zone plays are really crazy, where it just doesn't make sense how he knows what's coming. But to me, that's like his biggest strength. He has incredible feel. And man, you want to mirror in zone, you want to read and react, but he's not even reading and reacting, or he is, but he's seeing it before the play. So I think that's super, super valuable.
Yeah. I mean, he's been an all-pro, albeit second team. Benford just doesn't quite have the accolades or the production that Jaylon Johnson has had. The frame is no joke with him. He just looks like a beast out there. He's so big. He's got such long arms, and he just doesn't really ever. He's not afraid of getting burned deep at all. So it feels like any sort of underneath breaking route is just screwed when he's around, because guys can really explode off the line of scrimmage at him, and he just like holds his ground.
He really sits. That's absolutely what it is, where it's like he's making me nervous. Even if you turn on like the plays where he's balling out, you're like, dude, you gotta get ready to go.
Yeah, he just always he's not scared. He's not scared at all. He knows that the route is probably gonna break at some point, and they're not going purely vertical. He knows that it's usually a too high shell in Chicago, I feel like. So he just is always causing problems. He's not allowing an inch of space to anything underneath. He's good at getting back to, like, if he's being put in some sort of high-low conflict, like, he's not biting on the underneath thing. Like, he's still being mindful of what's going on over the top. He just allows absolutely nothing for free. He's going to force you to take a low percentage throw, like really deep over his long ass arms. Offenses probably should test him deep a little bit more often than they do, but it doesn't. I mean, he's proven himself enough that it doesn't really happen. I mean, like there's a reason that guys aren't even really looking at him anymore, and that just makes things all the worse for them. So he allows very little production, a lot like Benford, because of this, just living in that zone coverage and erasing everything in his path.
As we get to our number 6, I have a question that I've just thought of.
Yeah.
Why did Gonzalez go as late as he went? Like 15th, right?
Yeah, he went.
I know there was a reason. It was injury, right? He was like
toughness
up.
questions and like.
I don't remember. I think it might have been injury related, but you're right.
It must have been. It must have been an injury, because it makes absolutely no sense that somebody as talented as him went at 15. It really doesn't make sense. He is an absolutely crazy athlete. He is. I don't know. Is he the best athlete on this list? Stingley's up there too.
I was about to say he's probably top 3. It's between, I think, him, Mitchell, and Stingley, probably.
But
I think
Gonzalez, if we're taking
I
into
might
account
give
like his overall length, and he's just so fluid and so fast, and just all that stuff, obviously, like is easy to rate high as a prospect. So it's always surprising. It's always surprising that he went where he did. He also has really incredible ball skills. He's super good at turning and locating. So when you combine, like, basically, I don't want to say a perfect athlete, but somebody who's like strong, like really strong in all the major areas, and somebody who has, even as a young corner, like the feel to turn around and make plays, it's hard not to rate him very highly. And it's hard not to feel like any given year could be his year to have like the statistical #1 season, especially when we talk about guys who run a lot of man. He might be #1 on this list in terms of man percentage of guys.
I know that
his
the
man
Patriots
rate
were-
is crazy.
It should be the second highest behind the Lions guys, because the Lions
Well,
ran the
okay.
most man, and then the Patriots ran the second most.
All right, I'll give you that one, man. It was Robertson, Jonathan Jones, Arnold, Davis, Gonzalez, of guys who played at least like half their snaps. Wiggins is top 10 and Ward is top 10 as well. So yeah, I mean, Gonzalez is asked to do a ton and he performs incredibly well. He's an absolute baller.
I absolutely
And they
love
have no
Gonzalez
pass
coming
rush.
out. That's the other thing is like that. I think Gonzalez has a very strong case to be the not his fault corner, because I was thinking, I was like, I was actually worried that I was going to be the highest one on Gonzalez on this list, and I ended up being the lowest one on him by a pretty decent margin. So I'm sorry that he ended up being at 6. He could have been top 5 here. And I like you say, Matt, he's such a good athlete. He might have the best speed turn of anyone on this list. Like his hip fluidity is just so good. I always think back to the first time he matched up against Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's
and he just, and I'm like, yeah, this is the best. He's the best guy I've ever seen, man. He's just perfect.
Right, but like, and he's like significantly bigger than him, you know?
Yep.
It's like doing that with the size. It really is a crazy skill set.
He's like built like Surtain, but he's got like the movement skills of like Stingley and Mitchell and like those guys. It's like absolutely insane.
Yeah, a Surtain kind of season could easily come for him if they put any kind of pass rush in front of him.
Yep.
We'll see what it looks like with Williams and Barmore this year. I'm a little skeptical about that making the pass rush like fantastic, but it'll certainly help. It'll certainly help.
Or they should just start throwing the ball at him and see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll just snag it right out the air.
He really isn't the most physical corner, I'd say, like when you compare him to like a Mitchell or a Surtain or a Witherspoon, especially. Although he's a nickel, so maybe that's a bad comp. But who cares? If it's cover 1, he's not in the run fit. All right, it's not like they're running cover 2, and if they do, he'll probably drop to be a safety in the invert. They like to invert their shit. So. Who cares? Honestly, he's top 5 as far as I'm concerned.
He's top 5 as far as I'm kind of mad. I put him at like 7 on my list, and I should have put him higher. And I was like, no, I don't want to be too high on him. He didn't have the numbers to kind of back.
You let PFF.
I let the numbers, because I was like, dude, Marlon Humphrey was first team All Pro. I need to be higher on Marlon. And I was like, and McDuffie, he's probably like, he's got to be top 5, and Stingley and Sauce have to be top 5.
The only guy that you have him, I mean, I have him at 6.
The only guy I should
The
have
only
had
guy that I think is, that's the only guy where I'm like, you really should have. Outside of that, I mean, everybody above him is a baller, like a total baller. I mean, and Johnson's not, he's pretty dang good too.
Yeah,
but
I let the production get to me there, but it's okay. I think the approximate value on PFR agrees with our list so far, though, because it's got
wow.
Jaylon Johnson has like an 18 over the last 2 years.
I don't know how they get that number for corners, but
I have no idea, dude.
They very well could just make it could just be some guy making it up, and we'd never know. I'm not suggesting that's what they do, but like genuinely,
We should
it
make
has to be.
we
It
should
has
make
to
a
be some
stat
counting
page.
stat formula.
We should make a stat page and just make up like an advanced analytic and just like make up all the numbers. Just
Dude,
type them in manually.
Speaking of Football Reference, I'm a brand ambassador for them.
You're a brand, and
They just DM'd
I
me.
remember when you were at PFN.
Yes.
I remember I was like looking at like literally like LeBron or somebody, and then I scrolled and they had like bought ads. So I was watching this Theo Ash video. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man?
I've been in ads that played on Pro Football Reference when I was with Pro Football Network. But now I'm going to be a brand ambassador for Pro Football Reference, the stats page.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
It's a good page.
I'm going to have some. It's one of the best websites ever.
It's elite, bro.
It's so
of those
good.
Pages are. I somewhere I actually have a Basketball Reference shirt, kind of as a gag. I've never worn it, but
They're sending me stuff. Apparently, I'm excited.
you're getting some
hell yeah.
you're getting some swag, bro. Okay.
PFR swag?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's not even paid, I don't think. I was just like, I will do whatever for the website since I've used it so much. Like
It is very honorable.
it's the most honorable ad that has ever, not even an ad really. Like
The QB ranking quizzes scrape the images directly from PFR.
Yeah, honestly, them having all the standard images that are super easy to download, I've used that before too. It's a great website.
They're the only like stat page. Like ESPN, it's not like a standardized like URL that you can grab from. So like it's like you would have to manually download and store every image if it weren't for them. So makes my life a lot easier just being able to be like, hey, just go get this image, and it's super small and super fast.
yeah,
PFR.
Shout out. I think I'll have a promo code for StatHead soon. So if I'm selling anything, that'll probably be what it is. But at any rate, I don't know how they calculate AV.
You should ask them.
They're gonna let you choose.
They're gonna let me choose the AG, please.
You get to Justin
use a
Herbert.
ridiculous
Justin Herbert's gonna have the
This
Herbert's gonna have the
20
highest
AV Elton
AV.
Jenkins season is going to be magic.
Do they have AV for offensive linemen?
They do.
No way.
Who the hell knows how they're coming up with that? No disrespect.
Yeah,
I have no idea how they're doing it.
Elton Jenkins AV last year was 9.
Dude, he's had an 11 AV season. Talk to
That's
him.
what I'm
Mike.
saying. He had an 11 AV season in 2020, 10 in 2022, and 9 last season.
I wonder if it's like the PFF grades multiplied by the amount of games that they played or something.
See the glossary. for
The elbow
more
say you can
information.
look up the glossary.
We can't not investigate at least for 1 second. It's not letting me click, so I'm out. But
Yeah, it's
one of you
not
guys
letting
got
me-
it.
it's
Look,
not letting me
they'll
see.
be live. I'll explain it once my onboarding is done.
That'll go viral. You're gonna be viral.
AV explanation is
He's
getting
gonna go
5 million
triple
views.
platinum.
But yeah,
Bye.
I will be handing out AV grades.
Oh,
So
approximate value. Okay, approximate value. This is our attempt to put a single number on each player season since 1960 so that we can very approximately compare across years and across positions. See this about page for all the details. Oh, they've got a whole breakdown of it. Okay, so there is a breakdown on how approximate value works. So if you want to read that, it's profootballreference.com/about/approximate_value.htm. Not sponsored. Unless you're Theo, then it is sponsored.
then it is sponsored. Soon. I'm not even yet. But
Not even yet, but
not even yet.
almost sponsored. We don't even have any ad reads this week, and we just basically did one for free. So
Shout out to him.
shout out to him. But let's get into the top 5 corners here. At number 5, we've got Marlon Humphrey, who was a first-team All-Pro guy. I kind of forgot that he was first-team All-Pro this year until I started like getting ready for this episode, I was like, oh yeah, Marlon Humphrey was first team All Pro, and
Yeah.
he did have 6 interceptions and a couple of forced fumbles, and he also had a ton of pass deflections. Just such a productive season. So I think it was really hard to leave him off of this list.
Yeah, well, you'd be insane to leave him off the list. I was watching him, and also had forgotten he was a first team All Pro. And I was watching him, and I was like, "Is it okay to put him at like 3, like, or 2?" Because that's what I was thinking, watching him. And then I was like, I don't know. Like, does anybody have him up there? And then I checked. I was like, he's first team All Pro. So then I ranked him at 3.
Yeah.
He just does it all. Like, he just does it all.
It's hard to say he doesn't. I mean, he's a guy who can be outside or is physical enough to be in the nickel, getting downhill, making plays, and also he had 8 turnovers in 16 games. And he was first team All Pro. I think a top 3 ranking is perfectly fair.
I'm trying to look up to see if anyone else, where other people might have Marlon ranked.
I think he also had the lowest passer rating when targeted. Among any of the guys that we've talked about today, including a couple that we haven't really talked about. No. So statistically, he was awesome last season. I think he's physical both in like the nickel corner run defense and like going and making a play after the ball is caught, and in the sense of like when the ball is in the air, he's just really difficult. I think all of the very, very best corners, maybe not all, maybe this is too blanket. I think typically the very, very best corners are always pushing how physical they can be.
Yeah, definitely.
How physical they can get away with. And Humphrey is definitely one of those guys, and he does a great job walking that line.
Yeah, I mean, Surtain, Humphrey, McDuffie, all 3 of those guys had 11. DJ Reed also had 11 penalties. And like those were they were tied for 3rd in the NFL with that number, but I think that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If Surtain and Sauce Gardner are picking up a ton of penalties, it must not be that bad.
It can't be that bad. I did find a few lists here, one of which is actually just very funny. But PFF ranked Marlon Humphrey at 7, which feels a little low to me. And then I found another list from this random website that I've never heard of that ranked him at 6. And then I found this other list that was definitely made with AI, because I'm reading this and this is the list. It goes Jalen Ramsey, number 1, Marshawn Lattimore, number 2, Stephon Gilmore, number 3, Tre'Davious White, number 4, Denzel Ward, number 5, and then they have Marlon Humphrey at 6.
Okay, when was this list made? Is there a date on
2025. It says It says 20, but it's like they clearly just typed into Chat GPT top 10 corners in the NFL with
and you've exposed them. You've ripped them apart. They're no more.
I don't think
it has
that
like the
website's
team
gonna be
names
seeing
next.
many tracks.
Jalen Ramsey, LA Rams.
Not after Blaiden Kirk's takedown, they won't be.
That's true. That's true. I'm gonna. Oh no, I shouldn't even. Yeah, if I go and make a video and like they used AI, then people are gonna visit the site and they're probably gonna get more engagement. And
I mean, what is the name of this website? I don't think
I'm not.
You're not.
Nope. We've done enough free press this episode already. We're not.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing free press for AI slop, man. Like
that is the disappointing thing about all that AI slop. It can't even give you interesting sports answers or like even come up with something that's like generally close. It's just like giving you information from like 6 years ago. If you ask a top 10 quarterbacks, Cam might still be up there. You're like, cool.
So occasionally I'll ask it a question to try to gauge its value to me. And I'll never forget asking it if the Eagles are running more under center, like during the playoffs. And they said, yes, they are running more under center with their running back, Miles Sanders. It's like, why would they didn't even need to include that? Like, they literally said it for no reason at all.
Yes, the Eagles and Brian Westbrook are.
And what's interesting is if you ask
that up, man.
A lot of times if you ask ChatGPT a question it is very much an affirming answer that it will give.
Yeah,
right.
that's
Even
absolutely what it
like
does.
if you ask it something and you know the answer is no, it might still tell you yes just to like appease you, which is very
Which
weird.
is awesome when people use grok for Twitter arguments, and then it gets, you know, like tweaked by
Mecha
Elon
Hitler?
Musk to make it agree with them, to make it Hitler. Okay, cool. So it's not the greatest resource.
No, it's really not. But getting into the rest of our top 5 corners at this point, we've got Trent McDuffie at 4, and I feel like entering this top 4 is somewhat going to be universal consensus chalk per se of the list, and we've got McDuffie here at 4. Kansas.
Well, not me, because I had.
That's
Humphrey
true.
at
You Theo, you did not have half of this top 4. You had McDuffie at 5, and you had Gonzalez at 4, and you had Humphrey at 3.
Yes.
Why did you have Matt? I was like, do you not have McDuffie at all? That can't be true. You had the D lowercase, so it looked different to me.
But anyway, yeah, we had McDuffie at 4. Is that the truth?
Yeah. That is the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. He's a little weasel guy. Like, he just is so quick. He's got to be just I think for his size, Gonzalez might be the best athlete on this list, like we discussed. But McDuffie is so scaled down for a corner, and I think that allows his mobility to just rise to such an insane level.
I know what you mean. I feel like maybe this is a cop-out, but I feel like Gonzalez is a little bit smoother and McDuffie's a little bit more sudden. They're kind of two different sides of like the super athletic coin.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, McDuffie, what's cool about McDuffie is he's that quick, and obviously that allows him to like be super sticky in coverage, but he also is kind of in that, you know, Witherspoon, Humphrey sort of role where he's really good at getting downhill. And even though he's smaller, Brian Branch is another guy who we're going to have in our safeties video, but he's one of those like absolute top tier dudes heading downhill, and he's been a big part of the Chiefs defense being good enough to bring him to so many Super Bowls.
His game in the 49ers Super Bowl, the second 49ers Super Bowl, was so ridiculous. Like, he could have won Super Bowl MVP. He was so locked down. Like, you can't get any separation from him at all. It's like trying to run away from a drone or something. Like, he just
who's way faster.
A guy who just has unlimited change of direction and just unlimited twitch and just so much tenacity at the catch point. It's like the game is, he's moving so fast and it feels like everybody else must look like they're moving slow to him. Like, even if he's beat and the ball is dropping down out of the sky, like, he's going to find a way to get eyes on it and rake around and try to break it up some way, somehow. And he can put his body in just whatever position to try and do that. Like, over the shoulder type, like diving backwards breakups, whatever it takes. He just has unlimited movement skills and all the tenacity. I valued some bigger guys a little bit more just because I feel like Gonzo has a lot of that and plus all the size. But McDuffie, you know, he's done it in the playoffs. He's done it and brought the team rings. Like, he's
right.
He's pretty legit. He's certified. He's certified.
Easy to put top 5.
Yeah,
he's
super easy.
Respect.
Super easy.
I remember at the Super Bowl, I asked McDuffie what his favorite play from the season was, and he said it was his first interception this year against the Browns. So I actually hate Trent McDuffie with a burning passion, and I hope he has his worst year as a pro. I hope he allows 50 touchdowns on his head. But that interception against Cleveland was crazy. I'm pretty sure it was probably Jameis who threw it, because it was, I don't remember what week that was, but I probably would have been Jameis. But I just remember I went back and watched, and I was like, yeah, that was a crazy play. justifiable for that to be your favorite play of the year.
Yeah, I mean, there were two. I think he was guarding Judy and then came off of it to pick off the pass to Woods, and it was diving, and Woods screens his vision. He holds his Woods literally puts his hands over McDuffie's like face mask so he can't see, and it's on the sideline, and McDuffie still catches it. Like he's toe tapping, he's diving. His vision is getting screened. He came off of his guy. It was ridiculous.
And then getting into our top three here. At number 3, we do have Derek Stingley, who has probably some of the most insane like splash plays at corner right now. Like the game clincher against Miami this past season was absolutely ridiculous, and he had 2 interceptions in that game. But he was just going step for step with Tyreek Hill up the sideline, and then mosses him like literally like over the shoulder, jumps up, rips it out of Tyreek Hill's hands. I'm like, yeah, that was maybe the most insane interception anyone made all year. Mm-hmm. And those are the kinds of plays that I think get him into the top 3 here, but he also can allow some big plays trying to play like that. So probably
possibly, but statistically he was not bad this year at all. His yards allowed per coverage snap was very in line with everybody else here, and his passer rating allowed was one of the best. We were saying it about like literally everybody now, of course, but like he is also a crazy athlete. I mean, he was hyped up as like a true freshman for a reason. You don't get that type of prospect talk without being that type of prospect, and the athleticism obviously comes with that. He's got a crazy vertical. He's super fast. He's really physical too. He's great in press. So to have a combination like that is awesome. But I also really love his vision. I mean, you talk about the big play, and it's easy to put that all up to the athleticism or even up to the ball skills. But I feel like a lot of the time it's like you got to read things out and put yourself in position when you're in zone to go make a play like that. And Stingley always does a really good job with that. So I had him here at 3. This is the right rating to me.
Yeah. Matt, you and I have the exact same top 4. So
Hive mind.
I
had him at 6. I had him a little lower. I think he needs to lock in more consistently over the course of the game, I feel like he has all the splash plays, but like he did allow a lot of big ones last year, and I think there could have been more, especially against like the Colts. But of course they could never ever connect on any of that. But like A.D. Mitchell burned him deep probably like 4 times last year. Like Brian Thomas Jr. burned him deep. Like Kayshon Boutte, I think, burned him deep for a touchdown last year. Like there are just a few too many big plays given up. There were just as many ridiculous plays, right? But I'd like to see him become a little bit more consistent. Sometimes I think he just assumes something is going to happen, and then it doesn't, and he's kind of scrambling to keep up. And sometimes he does really recover because he is such a cracked athlete. But like I just like to see him.
He recovers a lot.
He recovers a lot. I would like to see him just a little bit more cognizant of all the options on every play. But he's still ridiculous.
I can feel you. That puts us at the top 2 here. I feel like we can
put us
at
the top
same
2.
time. It's Sauce Gardner at 2 unanimously, and Patrick Surtain 1 unanimously. Sauce obviously coming off of his worst year as a pro, and Patrick Surtain winning the depoy kind of makes this one a little hard to rank otherwise, I thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even though Cincinnati legend, Sauce Gardner.
Look, Cincinnati legend. I thought a lot about how good he was for UC while I was working on this list. I mean, he really is. I still think he's probably the best college player I've ever watched, like in person at least, or seen on one of my teams.
I mean, he's got to be the best player.
And he was so good. He didn't even let up 100 yards.
He's got to be the best
season,
player,
and he never let up a touchdown.
Right?
So regardless, Sauce is incredible in press, and he's incredibly physical. And while there's like maybe guys with more long speed than him, he's still really smooth. And the combination of like how physical he is at the line. Like, he may be just straight up the best in press of anybody in the league.
Yeah.
And when you combine that with somebody who just has great reaction time and great smoothness, it creates somebody who's just really, really difficult to deal with. I mean, we're sitting here year 3 and he's got 2 first-team All-Pros. He hit the scene and was immediately awesome, and I kind of think he's going to bounce back next year. I know you're working on a video for this, Theo.
Yeah. My takeaway with Sauce last year is he's still the same old guy. Just a couple things didn't go in his favor. The Jermaine Johnson injury absolutely killed the pass rush. I don't think the defensive coaching and the play calling was very good at all with Ulbrich. Like, they couldn't deal with like a bunch or like a switch release. Like, Sauce got blown up so many times trying to, deal with traffic. They just didn't have any kind of coordination. So the coordinator couldn't have been that good. He was banged up.
They fired their head coach.
The refs started, I think, he got picked on a little bit by the refs. There were some bad calls. Like, there was a game versus Pittsburgh. He had like a beautiful rep versus George Pickens. Like, fantastic. He jammed him like out of bounds or nearly out of bounds. Like, got his eyes on the ball, like dove, broke up the pass on the way down. They called it a penalty for reasons I just don't know. I guess you can't crowd a guy to the sideline.
On Twitter, dude, it's shameful. They reward him.
And he got hurt on that play too.
What bothers me is it's not just him. Yes, he's grabby, but like so many other guys are too. Like you said earlier, Blaiden, like Pat Surtain, who just won deep boy. If he pulls in, or like Richard Sherman was always very penalty prone. Nobody blames those guys. Nobody's like, oh, they suck because of that. It's just kind of the nature of being a physical corner. You're going to give up a couple extra penalties. But
not even a physical corner. It's the nature of being a good corner is that you are physical, and the nature of being physical is that you're going to have penalties.
Yeah, and I think he does a good job, Sauce, of like using his hands more as paddles. He doesn't necessarily grab like a fistful of jersey a lot of the time. And I watched all of his penalties for the video. And like, yeah, there's definitely contact on some, but it's always so borderline. You're like, man, I don't know. The wide receiver is doing it too. And he does let go at kind of the right time. He's not really got that classic, jersey pull. Yep. You can see the shirt stretch. Like, there's really not a lot of that with Sauce. And it just must feel like you're running through mud to go against him. Like, just constant pushing and shoving, and you got to work through the hands, and you got to lean on him to create any separation. And that lean just like takes such a long time, and it must just sap so much of your energy as a route runner. You might be able to win on him eventually, but at that point, the QB has just moved on to the next read because it's just taking such a long time to get through this guy. It's crazy. So
yeah.
And like on that Pickens play, he banged up his knee too, and he was clearly hurt the next week versus the Texans, and then eventually his season ended because of a hamstring thing. So I thought a lot of things didn't go in his favor last year to kind of tank his reputation on like Twitter, but I still think from what he's done the moment he stepped into the league, like no one has really been more consistent. It's him and Surtain, and he's dating Ice Spice now. So congratulations to him.
He's dating Ice Spice.
Shout out.
I did not know that.
Shout out.
Either. The only thing, he is a terrible tackler. I mean, he was a terrible tackler last year. His missed tackle rate was like 23%, which is wild. Damn. So, and he's never been. I feel like he's always been like fairly aggressive. He's never been like a very textbook tackler, but he is kind of aggressive in run support sometimes, I feel like. So it's kind of a weird balance with him.
Yeah. He's so big, he should be probably a better tackler. It wasn't, when I watched his tape, I didn't think it was always as consistently bad as I thought it would be, because I knew the numbers. And I was like, okay, there are some clutch tackles here. Like, he's the last one left and he made it. But he also did clearly miss a lot. I do trust the missed tackle charting.
Yeah,
but,
it's true.
Yeah. But I don't know if he'll be is that outlier compared to where he's been in the past? I wonder. Or is it always like north of 15%?
Top of my head.
I cannot say I know. But I do wonder, like, do refs grant, like, I mean, they definitely do. I'm not even going to ask, like, do I wonder, do they grant more leeway to like receivers who are like bigger and more physical And then like if a corner is able to like move that guy off his spot and jam him and like really drive him out, it's like, oh, he must be holding because like that's a physical receiver. How'd you move him? Like you must be holding.
Yeah, if like you use physicality at all to prevent a catch, sometimes the refs just throw the flag. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. With a wide receiver, if you use physicality to get open, I mean, they might call that once on a team per season, you know, like it would have to be like so blatant for a touchdown to get called at all, it feels like. So it just feels, DPI is such a, I could rail on and on about DPI and how dumb of a penalty it is and how it should be 15 yards.
It's very much skewed in favor of the offense.
Yeah, it's absolutely dumb. It's dumb. Wide receivers are literally allowed to do whatever they want. They push off so much.
Yeah.
It's fine. And Sauce, it in the long run, it benefits Sauce more than it hurts him to be so physical, because there's just not a single wide receiver in the league who can like handle it that well, really. Mm-hmm. Like even Justin Jefferson like has major issues. I know that he had a good game against Sauce last time, but that was like a lot of because of kind of ticky-tack penalties.
Prime Odell used to have a really good like counter to, because he had that rivalry with Josh Norman for a bit, and Josh Norman has those like really long arms that could get in your grill easily at the line of scrimmage. So like Odell would kind of, and I don't know if like he was the one to pioneer this, but he would like literally like intentionally false step by like basically taking a step back, and you would like see his back foot like slide behind his front foot. Mm-hmm. And he would like kind of jolt back and then like go forwards to like try and get the guy to lunge at him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I always
it's still almost accomplishing the same thing, though. It is a fun trick, but like when you take a full step, you're holding up the timing of the route, so you got to be crazy explosive to make up.
Well, Prime Odell was
crazy explosive. He had a pretty good first touchdown. Can't lie. And it was in his debut, which I think gives you extra aura if it's your first career game and you get a touchdown.
Was the catch his like first?
No, that was.
Oh, I thought that's what.
That wasn't his
first.
There's
no way.
Yeah, this one was a catch against the Falcons, and he like jostled for position, got in front of the corner, caught like a go.
Like, there's no way the greatest catch of all time. It was
no. That was not
debut.
The guys who caught touchdowns in their debut, by the way, Hollywood Brown did it, Brandon Cooks, Demaryius Thomas, Odell Beckham, Jahan Dotson, Kelvin Benjamin, Jamar Chase, Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, AJ Green, and Smitty.
Shout out AJ.
Shout out those guys for first career game touchdowns.
So nice.
He was nice.
He was. So that gives us Pat Surtain at number 1, who is the reigning defensive player of the year now.
Yeah.
Matt, you
has to play a lot of man. I mean, statistically really good in spite of that. He didn't miss any tackles all year. He's also super, super physical. I think he's another guy who I think is particularly good at reading and reacting. He's kind of got a balance of a lot of different skills. So I think it all came together with a good Broncos defense for him to put up like, one of the better cornerback seasons we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like no one puts more on a corner's plate than Sean Payton with Patrick Surtain. Like, it's just a given that he's going to follow around the top guy all game. You're playing the Bengals, he's literally following Jamar Chase around the field. You're playing the Jets, Garrett Wilson, you're following him around the field. Like,
and if in the slot, yards outside, allowed per coverage snap.
Yeah.
Doing that, which is just crazy,
Yeah, he's so technically refined. I remember at Alabama, I think he got called for either 0 penalties or 1 penalty his whole career. Something ridiculous like that. Despite being handsy, despite being physical, despite being, huge. And that's just followed him. Like, he is so good at pressing at the line of scrimmage. I think he's even like quicker than Sauce Gardner is, probably like foot quickness. Like it's just the total package at corner. He's the best in the league.
He is. He's the guy. I feel like I keep trying to think about like what each of these players is like the best at. Sauce has probably got, we talked about his press is insane and he's really good in trail technique. I feel like Surtain, I feel like is the best at when you have to play kind of that like cloud coverage and there's like a guy in front of you and a guy behind you and you have to kind of split the difference and figure out who to play in that situation. I think he is the best at kind of sitting in that middle and like knowing like exactly how to play that, exactly how much distance to give up. Because I feel like that's one of the hardest responsibilities is when you've got a guy right in front of you and a guy behind you. Like you don't want to give up the big play behind you, but you know, you wanna come up and make the tackle. And I feel like he's really, really good at that.
He's the best at a lot of things. And he's crazy. He's cracked. He had his 100 and something yard pick six this year. That was the most valuable play by EPA of the entire season. So just a ridiculous year and a ridiculously smooth player, just at every single aspect of playing corner. Like there's nothing really to say. He's also a nice guy. Shout out Pat Surtain. Cammy met him at the news station one time.
He's also a nice guy.
Very good dude. I feel like a lot of corners are like crazy or like kind of aloof. You know, like I feel like corners are just weird guys. Like Jair, weird guy. Sauce, weird guy. Stingley, I don't know if he's weird, but he seems like he'd be a little aloof. Like he just would like sit there with sunglasses on, just like not even talking.
Yeah.
Just letting his play doing the contract. Marlon Humphrey is
he's kind of a weird guy. But he's like cool weird, you know, like I don't know. He's
like chatty weird.
Yes.
He's kind of weird in the same way you're weird, Blaiden.
That's true. He is weird in the same way.
Like Marlon he'll be like, man, I really won't eat. On Twitter, he'll have like some insane, I won't eat chips with salsa. If you need salsa to make the chip good, it's a bad chip.
And I agree. Is that like, something he said? I agree with
No, that's something you said that could be a Marlon Humphrey. Like that's just the type of shit he's on all the time. Is like
I'm gonna try and get Marlon Humphrey to retweet my tweets then. That's gonna be
Well, it doesn't mean he has the same crazy takes as you.
He might.
That's I want him to. I think
there've been a lot of Marlon tweets where I thought this is some shit Blake would say.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Marlon's
I'm going through his Twitter right now.
You got to find something, Theo. I believe in you. But you also wanted to do a little draft here at the end of the episode, Theo. What was the topic that you...
Okay, so we're going to draft 3 NFL mascots or logos. And the criteria is you have to use them as a vehicle. You have to like use them to commute to work. So I'll give Blaiden you the first pick, Matt the second pick, me the third pick. And we'll each pick 2. We get 2. You get maybe like a go to work car and like maybe like a fancy work.
You get a daily driver. Sporty. You get a daily driver and then you get a weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So NFL mascots as a mode of transportation. Blaiden, you're on the clock.
I'm on the clock here. And I think, we're talking daily driver. We want reliability first and foremost. So I think the easiest pick here has to be the Baltimore Ravens. It's a little bit of a smaller bird, but
way too small to lift you. I think that's a disaster 101, Frank.
Really? I think it has to scale a little bit. I think it has to scale a little bit. Like if we're talking
completely
like
disagree.
the mascot is like a guy in a suit, I think the bird scales
The
up.
logo-
Well,
the
that's
lo-
so
no,
against the
no,
spirit
no,
of the
no,
question
no,
to say
no,
you just
no.
are getting a dude in a different suit.
I'm not
Absolutely
saying it's like
not.
a dude in the suit.
You're
but-
getting the animal that the mascot represents.
Yes.
But it has to be the mascot. So, like, the New York Jets don't have a jet as a mascot, so you don't get a jet. That one's just a guy. A lot of these are just a guy.
Yeah, like the Pittsburgh Steelers is just a guy. The Browns, you would get a dog, I guess, or maybe the elf. You could pick, but I guess I'm taking the Ravens, unless you're gonna let me change it from being.
No, you're gonna be and how would it carry you? Are we scaling? Okay, let's scale it enough so it can lift you. It's gonna dig its talons into your shoulder.
No, I'm gonna ride on its back.
Well, then all the birds are the same.
Yeah, but the Ravens are historically.
And you would be afraid of the height. I would be.
I was about to say who's we
You don't go on roller coasters
because I
This
get
is- I mean,
motion sick.
even-
Because I get motion sick.
How do you think riding in a giant bird
It's
to work
different.
is
It's
going
different
to
because I would have like it's like I can drive a car, but I can't sit in like the passenger seat. I'll get motion sick.
I think at the minimum, even if we give you sizing up the Ravens so much that you can ride on its back, which I think is BS. Even if we give that to you, you don't also get like mind control steering powers.
It's not mind control steering, but like I can.
The assumption is
Like,
the
I can put
Raven
a
knows
saddle
where you
on
want to
it.
go, but
Yeah,
it's
I'll
getting
give
you there
that.
at its own pace. Like, yeah, it's not like a toothless situation where the dragon becomes like a complete extension of whatever you want it to do.
It's not a How to Train Your Raven.
But Matt, with Raven off the board, it comes to you.
With Raven off the board, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna go like, hold up. Let me do a little quick research here. What exactly is the difference between a colt and a bronco? Because those to me are the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys
Interesting.
A
know?
colt is a young horse.
Okay, well then give me the bronco.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
could also
I
maybe be
think-
the car.
Oh, you got a Ford Bronco.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Don't hit me with that nonsense.
Yeah, you're right. That is nonsense.
Well, first of all, if you were to buy any car and you bought a Ford Bronco, I'd point and laugh.
See, okay, here's the issue. I think it's just a dubious question because so many of these things would just attack you, right? So like, I'm guessing here's the thing. I'm guessing we're going to give everybody like a pass on like the animal will not instantly attack you.
Yeah.
But I'm as my daily driver, I'm taking one of the two mascots outside of the just guys who I guess could give you a piggyback ride. I'm taking one of the two mascots that you legitimately could ride. I can't think of any of the other ones, like within reason. Yeah, I think so. So my choice is going to be Bronco 101 for the daily driver. That's an easy one for me.
Okay.
So for the third pick, I'm going to take something with a lot of potential. I'm going to take the Titans. You know, I'm going the piggyback ride route here and getting like a giant, perhaps mythical dude.
Well, does Titan fit giant or does giant fit giant?
The Giants are another option, but I feel like a Titan implies even more abilities than a giant, which I would take to mean a giant.
Do the
person.
Titans have them? I honestly don't know off the top of my head what the Titans mascot is. I'm seeing here that the Titans mascot is something called T-Rack.
Well, T-Rack is kind of I did not know that this mascot existed.
This is just, I mean, I've never seen this in my life.
The Titans mascot is a raccoon guy.
And the brutal part is that the precedent of no takesies backsies has been established.
Okay. Well, look, if you want to hold me and I'm riding this raccoon to work, that's fine. I'm taking it to mean that I get an actual Titan. And I'm going to take the Jets next for the same reason.
You can scale up the Raven, but you're still going to get motion sick.
I'm taking the Jets next, even though Matt, you said earlier that
that's BS. That's a guy. I mean, okay, fine. You take the Jets. I'm going to take the Chargers, but
No,
I'm taking
I was
that
gonna take the
as
Chargers.
I can ride a lightning bolt to work.
No, I
Yes,
was literally gonna take
that
the
was what I was
Chargers.
going for when I phrased this. Was
Okay, so I have the superpower one, and I have the one that could actually work in real life.
you're taking the Bronco to work,
Oh my
and then on the weekends you're taking the lightning bolt for a spin.
I can't believe you took the Chargers. I'm actually pissed off.
This leaves Blaiden with a raven, which I'm taking to mean you just get a raven. Like you just get a bird size. Like,
Here's the thing. I feel like you have no principles which you're basing these opinions off of. I think it's entirely dependent on what's good for you. The Jets mascot is like a fireman, right? It's like just a guy.
Fireman Ed is a fan in the stands that has been.
But don't they all wear like fireman hats, or some of them do outside of Ed? I don't know mascot ball.
I had never seen that Titans thing in my life before.
No.
I don't think the Jets have a mascot.
No, it's some sort of. Okay, the issue is that I'm getting a bunch of AI crap, and any one of them could be the mascot, because like the Titans have T-Rag.
Should I take another bird and have them like carry me together?
Look, at this point, I think it's however you want to interpret it.
I am going to take. Okay, no. Hear me out here. I'm going to take the Buccaneers because the pirate implies a ship.
The pirate comes.
I'll get okay. I mean, that's not any less reasonable than
Lightning.
anything else.
The Buccaneers
I was
implies
thinking
you
about
get
the Raiders.
I think the Buccaneers
about the Raiders,
implies
too.
you get a ship full of pirates. Like you're not
Yes.
the Yeah, you get multiple
Yes.
Buccaneers and their ship.
Yes, I
So
get
why
multiple
Buccaneers over Raiders is the question.
Well, you don't get a ship with the Raiders, do you? Like Tampa is like
The Raiders
is like. I mean, they're on the water,
Yeah,
and so
the Raiders may or may not come with a ship, and they seem a lot less trustworthy.
Okay.
Raiders.
Okay. Well,
Their
the
general
Raiders
aura.
are less trustworthy, but that makes them more dangerous to your foes as well. The Vikings could
I
also
was
be
gonna say,
cool in that
Yeah,
same
true.
be
vein.
an interesting.
I might lean Vikings over. Well, I don't know. If we're assuming the Buccaneers probably are a little bit more technically advanced than the Vikings, no?
Maybe I
I mean,
don't
I think
know.
Pirates.
Yeah, I think
like
they at least got like
1600,
sawed-off
7
shotguns and
Sure,
Right, like the golden age of pirates was past the golden age of Vikings, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I think I might go Buccaneers over Vikings.
but Vikings might have more loyalty and they're more bloodthirsty, so they would protect you.
Well, I think if we're
Because you
going
don't even
far, we
need the
can assume
Buccaneers.
that the
You're
Pirates are
just
loyal to you.
using them for their ship.
I'm using them for their ship.
You live in Columbus, Ohio, and you're taking a pirate ship. The loyalty isn't your issue.
Yeah, but
bro.
I'm going to
It's-
Tampa.
you're in a
I'm going to
landlocked-
Tampa this weekend anyway, so I might as well get to ride the ship.
Yeah, you would need a very sea-based job. Like if you were a fisherman, you'd have to become a fisherman.
Then I'm becoming a fisherman, and I'm gonna
here's the
sit on
crazy
my
part.
boat with my guitar, and I'm just gonna.
The only thing that
was
could be
dumb.
parked that we've talked about is Matt's list, which with the Bronco, which could definitely be neatly parked, and the lightning bolt, which hypothetically would be able to disappear and then reappear. You know,
Well, you would just.
Mhm.
I don't even know exactly how that. I assume you would like pass through the bolt, like it like shoot it like strikes you.
I would
picks
ride
you
it.
up
I would
and-
ride it like a surfboard, and then when I wanted to land, I would
Yeah.
it would like disappear under my feet.
You're
Exactly.
traveling at the
Summon.
speed of light on a surfboard,
hmm
like the Silver Surfer or something.
Exactly like that.
Yes.
but
Okay.
Sort of like a
Okay.
lightning type surfboard.
Yep.
But it'd
Gotcha.
be more bolt shaped. It'd be a lot longer than a surfboard.
Yeah, it'd be more cool, like a lightning bolt.
But I probably wouldn't be going light speed. I'd be going more of like what makes sense for like a superhero movie type of thing.
yeah.
I mean, the Flash can travel at the speed of light. He did so in. I know he did it in Justice League.
I'm just trying to
else?
keep this fair.
That's crazy. I get the Attack on Titans, guys. When I look up Titans,
You
that's
get
what
the
comes up.
Attack on Titan guy.
Yeah,
That's your daily.
I think that's what the namesake of the Titans had in mind when they named the team. That was a big naked dude. And
I'm trying to
that's
think
what
if
I'm
there's any other. No one thought about dolphin.
No, do you know what animals can get around? Like bills?
How would I mean? Like even
I don't.
what is your head canon for that working? I'll give you pirate ship in Columbus, Ohio. But like, what are the dolphins? Are they like? I'm assuming I get to have them have magical powers where they can ride and through the air and breathe air, right? It's like no,
Yeah, of course.
no.
There's a lot of mascots that could carry you on their back, and you have not mentioned a single one. A ram, a colt, a bill.
Could have gone with the lion.
I'd even accept
Could've gone with
jaguar.
a tiger.
You know, lion would be cool, but it has to be like the Steven Universe lion, the pink one that like can shoot portals out of its mouth.
At this point, why not? Well, that's within our scope.
I think it has to be.
A cowboy. You'd get the horse, I think, with the cowboy maybe, but
Oh, that's interesting.
A
Yeah,
bear.
but you wouldn't be riding. You wouldn't be like the cowboy. You're like
Yeah, you'd have to be on the back of the horse.
you'd be on the back of the horse and like yeah.
I'd rather have the colt than do that. I mean, it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad way to hitch a ride.
But then you have to learn how to ride a horse.
It would.
True.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
anyway.
With the cowboy, you have someone to like drive. So, but yeah, that's our quick draft for NFL mascots to get you around.
Blaiden is
town.
stuck in Columbus with no way. He had so much at his disposal.
I've got the Raven to fly me to Tampa, where I'm getting on my pirate ship, and we're sailing the.
You're carrying the Raven.
Pirate ship of buccaneers that kills you. Awesome.
And then once we're on the ship, the bird shrinks down and like sits on my arm like a parrot, but it's a raven.
No, it's just always that size. It's 2 pounds. But you know, it's okay. We all have bad drafts. The Bengals.
I didn't.
You got the
So.
Kevin White 7th overall pick with no touchdowns in his career, but
That sucks.
it's too bad.
-2 approximate value. But thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. As always, from your favorite three fellas here, we will be back with more position rankings. We'll be back with more division predictions. But until then, we will catch you on the flippity flop.